Hello everybody, Insane Frame here, back with another Fallout Challenge video. In the last video, we ventured to New Vegas with Nick Nitro and used dynamite. That was a lot of fun, and a lot of you knew the Nick Nitro reference, which is amazing, so thank you. So, without further ado, let's bring him back into this video, because today we're going to find out, can you beat Fallout 4 with molotovs? And there's no better guy for the job. Now, molotovs in Fallout 4 have fairly decent damage and also burn the target. This is really good, however there are some downsides. In Fallout 4 you can't actually use grenade type weapons in VATS, this includes the molotov. It's not the end of the world, but it just means we can't use criticals or do what we did with the dynamite and just get loads of accurate shots, but that's fine. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's explain the rules. We can only use molotovs in battle. No glitches or exploits, no cheating or modding the game's files, and we're going to be playing on normal difficulty. With that out of the way, let's jump straight into the game. We start off in character creation and we make Nick Nitro as close as we can. Now, it was fairly difficult because Nick Nitro actually has a very terrifyingly masculine jaw, but we'll have to get a mohawk later at some point as well. But all in all, not too bad. And also in this Fallout dimension, Nick Nitro has a wife. Well, I'm guessing he wouldn't want what happened in the movie. So here's Nick Nitro's wife, who we'll call Gwen. And for once, we created a couple of nice characters in the Frankenstein's bathroom. Codsworth is wonderful and awesome. We then get Vault-Tec call on us. We've already named ourselves, but Vault-Tec haven't registered yet, so we call ourselves Nick Nitro. And as for our stats, we go for 8 luck, 3 in agility, 1 intelligence, 6 charisma, which will be very important, 4 perception, and very unlike Nick Nitro, 1 strength. But remember, it just works, doesn't it, Todd? We'll fix it later. We then meet our troubled son, who resembles a potato more than anything, but him and Gwen make it to the vault, and then we're frozen, as a family. But Kellogg Cornflakes comes through in our life, but at least takes Mr. Potato Jr. But he unfortunately shoots Gwen right before our very eyes. I think you don't realise who you have annoyed, Mr. Kellogg Cornflakes, but despite that, Nick Nitro apparently can't have a nice life, but he still tries to be a hero despite his loss. We let Gwen rest in her pod and make our way out, avoiding the rad roaches, as we can't attack them and lock them out. And once the Pip-Boy is acquired, we're in the clear and open the vault. Once the wasteland is revealed to Nick Nitro, with no dynamite in sight, we meet up with Codsworth, who even after a fallout tries to be positive, bless him. Got to love Codsworth. We then get the special book in Sean's old room, allowing us to raise one of our stats by 1. We opt to improve our perception to 5, which is very important for us. We leave Sanctuary Hills and find a duffel bag with a couple of Molotov cocktails in it, the first of many more to come. Shortly after, we find a fluffy canine who is a good boy called Dogmeat, who will be accompanying us since he's fluffy and a doggo, and then deal with some mole rats in the area. After cleaning house and gaining the Red Rocket truck stop as a base, it's time to make our way to Trudy's diner, and when we get there there's Wolfgang and his subordinate, who aren't the best people around, so a quick Molotov and the fight is ours. We loot the weapons and armour to buy more molotovs and get some materials to help with getting more of our fire blast friends. And we make a point to buy a suit, as this will come in really handy, as it will increase our charisma, making trading much easier. Whilst getting some basic armour, we level up and gain a perk point. For those of you who are newcomers to Fallout 4 or are unsure about it, I'll try my best to explain how perks work and what they do. So every time your character levels up, you'll gain a level up, which you can choose one of 2 choices. You can either improve one of your base stats by 1 point per level, or you can invest your level up into a perk. But some perks are locked. As you can see here, our luck is at 8, but these 2 perks are still locked, so we'll need to raise our luck in order to unlock them. But once you have acquired a perk, some perks may also have ranks to it, meaning you can put multiple level ups in the same perk. This makes it more powerful or gives it very interesting effects, helping you out in some way. But as we go through the run, I'll try my best to update you on what each perk does, as perks vary greatly in what they can do. Anyway, back to the video. We level up our strength, giving us +1 strength in our chosen stat, making our strength value now a total of 2. We'll want 1 more level up in strength so we can unlock a perk called the Armourer perk to help us improve our armour. After our buying and selling, I found the cave entrance. A lot of you viewers commented in previous videos. Thank you very much. It's pretty cool to know about this place, and it's really easy to miss it, quite frankly. Anyway, we burn a pack of mole rats and then level up. We opt for a perk called Idiot Savant, which has a chance to give you a random chance to gain triple the experience on any action that can award experience. This is very useful to us, and we also break into a safe, finding 2 more molotovs, and it's just very nice loot. We then set up a recruitment beacon in our settlement and then make some molotovs, leveling up again. This is probably our most important level up as we go for local leader, allowing our bases to pool its resources together by assigning settlers to supply lines, meaning we don't have to travel to every single base to get our crops and supplies. We can just approach one workbench and it's all there. A wonderful quality of life change for us. As we build our settlement, we get our nut fruit and corn sorted, and also the water production as well. All checked off the list whilst it's still in the early stages. It's enough for the time being and will provide a steady supply of resources for us, which is very, very important at this stage in the game. It's then time to start cooking, and the whole reason we have our food production. We begin to make vegetable starch. This means we have a renewable source of adhesive. The only resource we need now is oil, and then we'll have a lot of fiery flasks. We then go ahead and make some molotovs, making a total of 15, which is something and enough to travel to the Diamond City. We also level up by burning a pack of evil doggos, which is kind of brutal, and we get outside Diamond City and listen to Piper do her usual spiel. It's then the moment of truth as we walk straight past everyone and get our Warhawk, bringing back the classic Nick Nitro. To top it all off, we then go ahead and get a perk with one of our level ups, which is Demolition Expert. This will increase our explosive damage of all explosive weaponry, upping our damage by 25%. Then it's time for a second perk as well, since we have multiple level ups, and we go for Bloody Mess, which improves all damage done by 5%. And our enemies now have a chance to splash their body parts everywhere. It's kind of gruesome. We fast travel back to Concord, and it's high time we help the Minutemen. Hello Preston, we see you. We also level up and have 1.2 endurance stats, so a little tougher and can last a little bit longer in battle. Once in the Museum of Freedom, the Raiders can't really stand against us, and we say hello to the Minutemen again. And grab the Perception Bottle Head, which grants us a permanent +1 to our perception. Preston then gives his speech, we just exit. We also ignore the power armor, we climb on the vertibird and drop into the church to get to the ground. Then we go ahead and summon the Deathclaw, and there are some raiders still alive for the Deathclaw to go chase, and we just petrol bomb him as much as possible, and he takes a lot of punishment but eventually falls. We then approach the Minutemen, who go to Sanctuary Hills. We sell up a corn farm there, and then we approach Preston. He says another settlement needs our help. So we talk to Sturgis for some free XP. It's then time for a level up, and we go for rank 2 in Bloody Mess, meaning all our damage is increased by 10% total, and Demolition Expert rank 2, increasing our damage by 25% with explosives, giving us a total of a 50% increase in damage. Also, we get a nice aiming arc for when we throw explosives, which is ridiculously useful. We then approach a settlement and they point guns at us and send us to deal with some raiders. With our throwing arc visible, it's so much easier dealing with these so-called raiders, and we even find Tales of a Junktown magazine to help us trade, which is very nice. We finish off the raiders and the settlement agrees to join us, which is most excellent. Preston, despite us not being interested in his life story, promotes us to General of the Minutemen and sends us to Grey Garden, which is exactly where we want to go. On our way, we pick up another issue of Tales of a Junktown magazine, helping us even more with trading. Arriving at Grey Garden, it's pretty cool as it's a greenhouse run by robots with different personalities, which is actually pretty amazing. It feels really cool, and they even have a hierarchy as well, but we go ahead and speak to Supervisor White, who says the water is awful and wants us to go to the water plant and investigate it. We also have 2 level ups and get Idiot Savant rank 2, meaning any action that awards experience has a chance to award 5 times the amount of total experience, which is pretty ridiculous. And we also go for a single point in our endurance stat, giving us more health, which will help later on. Anyway, we sneak into the water plant and we need to drain the water out because it's flooded. We then proceed to burn a lot of Mirelurks and we use most of our Molotovs, which isn't really a problem, but we get the pump back on and report back to Supervisor White, who then joins up with us and we gain another settlement. And with Grey Garden, we can source everything we need, so Molotovs will no longer be a problem to make. Speaking of which, we begin making Molotovs and gain a level up due to crafting XP. We go ahead and select the Adamantium Skeleton perk, which means we take less damage on our limbs. The damage is reduced by 30%, making it more unlikely to have crippled limbs, which can happen a hell of a lot when you use explosives. We then report to Preston, who wants us to take the Minutemen's old HQ, the castle. This is excellent news, however we will have to face a Mirelurk Queen, one of the toughest mobs in this run. We kick a few raiders to the curb on our way there and level up again and opt for rank 2 in Adamantium Skeleton, reducing our limb damage by a total of 60% now, which is extremely decent. When we arrive at the castle, we meet up with the Minutemen and we order everyone to stand in a firing line and begin shooting. It quickly devolves into chaos, and eventually, after the Mirelurks are dealt with, it's time to face the Mirelurk Queen, who is really pissed. This part took a few attempts and was very difficult, as the Mirelurk Queen does a lot of damage, but we do have Dogmeat and Preston helping us. But eventually we find a pathway to just keep looping the Mirelurk Queen round and round whilst throwing a heck of a lot of molotovs frantically. It actually works and we take the Mirelurk Queen down. Preston then thanks us and says another settlement needs our help. Thanks Preston. With everything done and a new HQ, we begin making a lot of molotovs again. We get a total of 125, which is just, well, what Nick Nitro wants, as it's Nick Nitro and it's time to go get Valentine. And one of you lovely viewers said you can directly go to a Triggerman's hideout to get Valentine. So that is exactly what we're going to do. We talk with Nick Valentine and he decides that we need to leave ASAP, which is fair. And it's an easy run and we get to Skinny Malone. And since we have some charisma, we manage to convince Darla to fight against Skinny Malone, which is hilarious as Darla and Dogmeat end up teaming up against him and Darla returns home alive for once. Yay! After all that, Valentine returns to his detective agency and we let him know Kellogg Cornflakes kidnapped Mr. Potato Jr. Valentine then connects the dots and we go to Kellogg Cornflakes' house and convince the mayor's secretary to hand over the key with our smooth charm. Probably how Nick Nitro got Gwen as his wife. Anyway, inside Kellogg's house, we flick a switch underneath his desk, find a secret room with all of Kellogg's favourite toys. Dogmeat then volunteers to find Kellogg using his scent, and Dogmeat is a good doggo and leaves the trail. And then eventually we get to Fort Hagen. Very good boy, Dogmeat. Very good boy. We run past all the turrets and enter Fort Hagen. We're met with simps who get burned and some turrets get burned too, making quite an entrance. We set many things on fire and eventually we get to Kellogg Cornflakes. He speaks to us via intercom and a few minutes later we meet him in person. We bottle him in the face with the fires from hell and we take out his bodyguards, and then Dogmeat helps us a lot as well, and similar to the Deathclaw we burn Kellogg to a crisp and find out Potato Jr. has been taken by the Institute. Well done Potato Jr., well done. We then see the Brotherhood show up in full force with the Pride win. They're probably back after we blow up their bunker in New Vegas, but I think we'll leave them alone and, give them a bit of peace. We also level up and get the Cap Collector perk, which will help us with trading. We then go ahead and buy some combat armor using our new perk, and then we go ahead and use our settlement's resources to trade for a lot of oil, glass and cloth. After a colossal amount of time, it's finally time to start making our molotovs. After constructing 317 molotovs and getting 3 level ups in the process, we go ahead and put one of our level up points into Demolition Expert rank 3, up in our damage, and we go ahead and invest 2 level up points into Toughness, granting Toughness rank 2, which will give us plus 20 damage resistance. Whilst this is not world shattering, it will help our survival, letting us ease out the winds. We pay a visit to the castle and meet Ronnie, who wants us to get into the armory, so we gain access through the tunnels. There's a sentry bot called Sarge and he takes one hell of a beating from us, and we used a lot of Molotov through a doorway. Sarge is then eventually out of commission and he was nasty to poor Dogmeat, which reminds me, we forgot about Connie and we go see her and she makes her way to the tunnels. She uses the terminal to open the door and then we get into the armory and grab 3 laser turrets and add them to the turret wall on our base. We also build some artillery and test it out, and Connie is as happy as anything, and Preston is happy as he hears of our explosive adventures. It's then time to head to Diamond City and we go to Nick Valentine, and he's arguing with Piper, who just wants a story for her newspaper. So we go ahead and leave her to it and leave for the memory den and meet Dr. Armani. We give her Kellogg Cybernetics and she hooks Nick Valentine and Nick Nitro up to the memory sequence. We then learn of a scientist named Brian Virgil who escaped the Institute, who is located in the Glowing Sea. We level up and go for Toughness rank 3, giving us a total of plus 30 damage resistance. Nick hilariously sounds like Kellogg as we leave, and then it's time to go to the Glowing Sea. The Glowing Sea is a pretty rough place, but we have enough Rad-X that gives radiation resistance, and Radaway that makes the radiation disappear from our health bar. Once we make it outside Virgil's cave, we have to engage a Deathclaw, and we fill the Deathclaw with flasks of fire, burning him alive, and a car explodes in agreement with us. We're in very rough shape due to radiation, but we manage to make it to Virgil and talk to him. Virgil is willing to help us out, but we have to kill a Corsair, which will be easy enough. We also go for a point of luck, giving us 10 luck now, and then it's time to upgrade our combat armor's defenses, and we make it so we can't be set on fire anymore, which is extremely useful if you use Molotovs. Adventure then takes us to the CIT building, where we encounter the mercenary group known as the Gunners, but our molotovs pretty much take care of them no problem, as we can pretty much one-shot them, so everything is pretty simple. When meeting the Corsair, we go ahead and free the Simp, as we know where the terminal password is, due to previous runs, and the Corsair actually uses the recall code, which is a nice touch, and then we engage in conversation. Then, as you can imagine, the fight begins very shortly after, but setting the Corsair on fire is massive, because we can actually see him if he tries to go invisible, and his healing doesn't really do much if he is on fire. So yeah, it's a relatively easy fight, and the Corsair chip is ours. Now that the Corsair chip is in our possession, we need to go to the railroad. So we pay them a visit at the North Church without too much trouble, and we make it to the entrance, entering the code railroad. Surprise, surprise. Then we're greeted with a hostile welcome, and Desmona is very rude and has clearly not had her cup of Yorkshire tea this morning. She doesn't even like what Deacon has to say. She then has the audacity to ask for the chip permanently after it has been decoded. The nerve of this lady. Nick Nitro then gets to work and just begins teaching these whippersnappers a lesson because of Desmona's bad attitude. We burn everyone in the railroad HQ after everyone is no longer present. We decode the chip ourselves, so screw you, Desmona. After our dealing with the Corsair, we visit Virgil once again, who gives us the blueprints to the teleporter. It's then time to go to the Minutemen and build the teleporter with Sturgis. Sturgis then guides us, and Preston just creepily watches us. Okay, Preston. Once the teleporter has been complete, we use it, and we are then teleported inside the Institute. We use the network scanner like Sturgis asked us to, then go ahead and use the elevator. Father then begins to say how wonderful the Institute is and spouts its propaganda about how brilliant it is. We don't really care. A few moments later, Sean uses a child simp to try and dupe us, and then reveals himself to us saying he's our son. Strong words there, very strong words. But well done, Mr. Potato Senior. You now lead an evil organisation. We need to have words with you, but still. We go ahead and meet the division leaders and get the teleporting tech for our Pip-Boy. We level up and get the Ricochet perk, allowing projectiles a small chance of reflecting off us and back at the enemy, killing them instantly. It's a small chance, but it might help us out a little bit. The next part of the game is quite annoying, as the game doesn't really tell you this, but you have to be hostile with the Institute to get the next Minutemen mission. So we simply throw a Molotov as we go up the lift and leave the Institute, and Potato Senior then berates us accordingly, despite it being absolutely blatantly obvious about what we did. Well done, Potato Senior. We then get to the castle and meet up with Connie, who says the Institute are attacking, and as the general, it's our job to defend. Now the hardest part here is not letting the Corsairs get through the defences and overwhelm us, and since we're using explosives, it's important to hit them before they're getting into the courtyard. And what we do is we get the perimeter on lockdown, set our turrets up, and we try this a few times and lose, but eventually we get the upper hand and make our fire blasts count. This keeps the Institute at bay whilst repairing our turrets where we can. When all is said and done, we're down to 40 Molotovs, which is quite ridiculous honestly, but still, it proves how much we burnt the enemy. We level up and get our final rank of Adamantium Skeleton, so we now no longer take limb damage, which is simply excellent. Preston then lets us know we have a hidden path towards the Institute. We can blow up their reactor if we really want to, but first we need to make more Molotovs, and we make a total of 114 Molotovs, which is probably all we'll need going against the Institute. And then it's time to talk to Sturgis, who says there's a sewer pipe that we can use to gain access to the Institute, and we can teleport everybody in once we're there. The sewers aren't too bad, nothing too serious, apart from some ghouls and a glowworm who keeps resurrecting them, but it's not too bad because we just keep burning them and killing the ghouls that keep getting up, and eventually we beat them all and get Ricochet rank 2. This raised our chance slightly of bullets being reflected back to the enemy. I thought I'd go for this perk to pay homage to Nick Nitro in New Vegas, having 10 luck, and it's just hilarious when some people get hit by their own bullets shooting you. We then make it further in, burn a couple of sims, enter the pipe, get out the maintenance hatch of the pipe, and we're in the main entrance where the teleport is located for the Institute, and begin teleporting in our friends and make the final assault against the Institute. Preston gives us a fusion pulse charge. This seems very familiar. Guess Preston heard about Nick Nitro's special move, but no Brotherhood of Steel this time, instead it's the Institute. Anyway, we go through the old robotics wing and the simps get caught up in fire and lasers. It's fairly easy. We even activate a sentry bot and it gets caught in the fire, making the Institute ships really hate us. Then our invasion pops up in the bioscience division and the gorillas get released, so we set them on fire. They actually have a lot of health, but don't really do too much damage, so we're okay. We take the turrets out and chip away at the gorillas and health until they go down. The main lobby of the Institute has some coursers which do a lot of damage, but we melt them and their buddies and then have our audience with Senior Potato. Senior Potato, our son, is really pissed that we burnt a lot of simps alive after he attacked our HQ, after Gwen died, and after a nuclear fallout happened. So we do the only rational thing and burn this villain alive. But we do get the password to the terminal and issue the evacuation order, so people do have a chance to get away. It's then time to put an end to all of these Institute villains, and we go to Advanced Systems and take out a couple of simps. We then go to the reactor and we are met with a huge wave of simps, and we randomly toss out our flasks of hell. And yeah, we even managed to get a guy with a rocket take damage from his own projectile, thanks to our timing, which is hilarious. But we place the charge and get teleported back to the entrance, and then the child simp from earlier approached us, likely one of Senior Potato's last tricks to get back at us. So we try to explain he isn't our son and he's a robot, but he doesn't really understand. We talk to Sturgis to get us out, and Preston gives us the honour of pushing the button, ending the run, proving yes, you can beat Fallout 4 with molotovs and end the Institute with a Nick Nitro busticle. Well, that was an unexpected run. I didn't realise we'd need so many molotovs, but it was so much fun, and the level ups got really crazy, especially in crafting. So much so, I didn't think it would get that ridiculous. But towards the end, especially with the groups of coursers in the Institute, it got pretty difficult, but we did manage to pull through. With all said and done though, we've hit 2,000 subscribers, so thank you very much everybody. It's really appreciated. You guys are absolutely amazing. Also, I owe you guys a massive apology for no videos recently, as I was admitted to hospital for a couple of weeks. But I'll try and get the schedule back up and running as always. But with all that said and done, stay tuned for the next video, as we got a fun one, as we'll be trying to beat Fallout 4 with the 44 Magnum. So thank you very much for watching. Hit the like button if you liked the video, subscribe if you're new, and have a brilliant day, ladies and gentlemen. You're all amazing, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. So bye bye for now.